Okay, I thought I'd do a video of my current endeavor to change the drive shaft support bearings on my car hauler, and this video is for 1993 F350. You can see here's the two drive shafts. This is actually a cabin chassis set up with three-piece drive shaft and two support bearings that we got to change. So it's a little different than some of the videos I've seen. And this is what it's on. You see it's a ramp bed car hauler, and the chassis is a 1993 F350, and got the 7.3 diesel, and we have a 74 F100 Super Cab body on it. So anyway, I'm going to see if I can show some of the process of changing these center bearings. It won't be, it won't show every step because I'm not set up to video and work, but I'll try to video it as I go. I didn't show getting it out, laying up under the truck videoing. If you're watching this video to learn to do this and you can't get the drive shafts out, you probably don't need to attempt changing the bearings. So I'm not going to show that part, and taking them out and putting them in is really straightforward. So anyway, I'm going to see now if I can get this yoke off, and I've already tried, and it's going to take some heating from the torch to get it off, and then I'll see about getting the bearings pulled. Okay, this is how far I've got on one of the support bearings. Here's some of the pieces, and probably the easiest way to do this is actually not a super heavy duty bearing, but I just took a cut off tool and just, after I got the rubber off, cut the outer sleeve, and it came off, and then cut the ball carrier and got it off, and then I cut the bearing race, and just stay off of, don't cut so deep that you're going to cut into the drive shaft, and cut most of the way through it, and then just took a chisel, and you can see where it's cracked, and just popped it and cracked it, and it'll slide right off now. So I've got the nut off of this, and it did take a lot of heat and a good impact wrench to get the nut off. I have not got the slip yoke off of the splines yet. I'm letting it cool. I'm gonna see if it loosens up, but I may have to heat this whole yoke to ever get it slid off of the splines, and then we'll do the same thing to this bearing. Okay, to get this yoke off, it's just splined on. As you can see, it's got a real coarse spline. Also notice I have marked the orientation of everything on. I marked everything on the drive shaft just so you don't get them mixed up and get them out of balance. Most of the stuff is keyed where you can't put the splines on but one way. I'm not sure about this yoke, so I've got it marked. And the easiest way to do this is just basically take your steering wheel puller and put a couple of bolts crossways in the yoke, and put some pressure on it, and hopefully it'll come right out. Okay, the yoke came off nicely with the puller, and went ahead and pulled off the support, and you can see the rubber's in pretty bad shape. That's one reason I'm changing these. And there's my yoke, and I did verify that the yoke is not keyed. You can put this yoke on in different orientations, so you could really screw this thing up if you don't mark it. So make sure you mark it. Where you can put it back. You see my marks will still line up. If you got this thing a notch out like that, man, this thing would shake. So make sure you mark everything just in case. And I went through the same process cutting this bearing off, and I've also just discovered that I have two different size bearings. So the ones I've ordered, one of them is not going to be right, so I got to get the measurements and get this ordered. Okay, we got our new bearing ready to go on, and what we're going to do is drop it on, and then I see guys just take a punch and hammer and just drive these bearings on, which I guess you got to do what you got to do, but it'd be best if you can find a piece of tubing the right size to be able to drive evenly. And I've got a piece here that slides over that we're going to drive it on with. So, okay, we've got our yoke back on, got our marks lined up, and we're going to put the nut back on. I would highly recommend red Loctite on this nut, and then we're also going to take a punch and put a couple little burrs on it just for added security so this thing can't come loose. Okay, here's our finished product. Got it installed. There's the second one. Like I say, this thing is this truck is 29.5 feet long. I'm not sure what the wheelbase is off the top of my head. I think it's around 18 feet. So it takes a 3-piece drive shaft. So anyway, got it all back together. Did have to elongate some of the mounting holes. I think the previous owner had actually put the bearings up in a little bit of a bind, and they were using the rubber as an alignment tool instead of just a dampener cushion. So had to do a little bit of that to get everything bolting up. You don't want to bolt stuff up if it's in a bind. So anyway, went together good, and it's now time for a test drive. So I hope this video has helped somebody out.